Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day, my oh my. It's a wonderful day. Plenty of sunshine coming our way. I will stop saying that now. I don't want to pay royalties. Good Friday to you. It is the 20th day of November, 2020. I am Dan Kuntz. Thanks for everybody who tuned in to our COVID town hall last night. We were very proud to bring that very important and pertinent information to you, our viewers, and to the people of North Central Washington. If you missed it, it was kind of strange because, of course, it ran the same time as a certain professional football team played a game. We're going to show you some excerpts of the COVID town hall last night in the back half of the program. This is very, very important information. You're going to hear from Dr. Malcolm Butler. As you know, Dr. Malcolm Butler does his weekly COVID update. He did it last night at the town hall. We'll show you that. Also, you'll hear from Dr. Peter Rutherford, the CEO of Confluence Health. Dr. Mabel Bodell will be speaking, and also Kevin Overbay, Chelan County Commissioner and a member of the Chelan Douglas Health Board. You'll be hearing from them in the back half of the hour. It was a fascinating 1 hour and 15 minutes indeed, and we were proud to bring it to you. Beautiful day today. Look at the sunshine. Low clouds are hanging around. They kind of slosh around a little bit, and then they're going to burn off. Beautiful day yesterday. Going to be a beautiful day today. One more time on Saturday. Things start changing on Sunday, especially Sunday night. Unsettled weather Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday we calm back down again. Long-term forecast, including Thanksgiving, is looking pretty good, actually. We're just going to have a little activity in the early part of next week. Forecast details are coming up. Seahawks won. They look pretty good, too. You're going to hear from Mr. Dunlop and from Coach Carroll from their post-game press conference, but the Seahawks knocked off the Cardinals. It's always nice to beat a team in your own division. We'll talk about that. Also, some quarterback issues with Washington State University. We'll have the obscure holiday today in history, some celebrity birthdays. Everyone is entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. Let's get her going. Let's take a look at I can't wait to see what we got here, because this is that time of the day and the time of the year where the sun is not officially up. Sun doesn't come up until 7:13, another 10 minutes or so, but there's enough light that we start seeing the sun's reflections on the high clouds, the stratus clouds that are hanging around here. We have just a gorgeous sunrise going on right now. You can see those low-hanging clouds and fog. Again, they develop in the overnight hours. We have high pressure. Overnight lows get pretty chilly. It's 31 degrees, and then the sun starts to climb. We start to warm up. Beautiful day yesterday, 48. A little bit warmer than they were anticipating. Our normal high, 42. So it was a nice Thursday, and we're in for another beautiful. We're going to do it all over again today. Maybe just a few more high-passing clouds today than Thursday, but it's going to be beautiful if you like sunshine, and I think we all agree on that. Camera 2, Megan's Choice. Down the road we go to Cashmere, Washington, United States of America. Formerly known as the early American village of Cashmere. That's what they called themselves. Remember that? They ditched that moniker a number of years ago for reasons I don't know. Anyway, good morning to Cashmere. You can see Steins Hill in the background. Way off in the distance is Mount Cashmere, but most of the Cashmere Valley is plainly in view there with the mighty Wenatchee River. And they're still working on the Goodwin Bridge, I'm told. They're going to work on that, I think, for maybe another few weeks before they shut down for the winter. Camera number 3. Let's see what's going on. Wow. I don't know what that is, but it's pretty. I want to say maybe Blag. That's Cole's Corner. Wow. That is awesome, Megan. So you must have that pointed towards the east, towards the sunrise. That's really cool. So the only way I can tell that that's Cole's Corner on a clear day is you can see the power lines, the high tension power lines running the juice over to Western Washington. You can't even, they're there, you just can't see them. That's cool. That's picture postcard right there. Beautiful. Man alive. I can't wait. What's camera 4? I'm excited now. Oh, well. No, I'm just kidding. That's pretty cool, too. I want to say maybe Billy. No, that's not Billy Goat. I want to say Upper Butte. That is Billy Goat. Wow, you threw me for a loop. That is the Columbia River way off in the far left there. If we had moved this camera a little bit more to the left, you would see our normal Billy Goat view, which is Pateros and Brewster, of course, and the Methow River. But Megan has moved that almost directly due east, so we can see the sun creeping up in the Okanagan County area. That camera, the Billy Goat camera, is one of our highest cameras that we have. That's a little over, I believe, 4,000 feet in elevation at the top of Billy Goat Ridge overlooking the Alta Lake area. That is awesome. Good stuff this morning. Sunrise 7:13, sunset 4:19. That buys us 9 hours and 6 minutes of daylight. When we get back together again on Monday, we'll be right at that 9-hour mark before we dip below it. All right, from the National Weather Service, here's your forecast. And again, pretty quiet for the next few days. Just a few clouds passing around here and there. Again, they're going to be those low stratus clouds will eventually burn off. We'll climb up to right around 43, 44, right around there. Mixture of clouds and sun. Sun's going to get the better part of the deal on this. Beautiful day Saturday. Again, we have a high-pressure system. It's not particularly strong, but it's strong enough to keep any kind of inclement weather out of our way. A little bit cooler, right around normal on Saturday with a high of 42. And then on Sunday, especially late Sunday afternoon into Sunday night, that's when the next storm system approaches. Not packing a big wallop for central Washington for our area. It is going to account for some pretty good snow in the Cascades when we get to Tuesday and Wednesday. Maybe Waterville could get a little bit of late snow of snow on Sunday. Any accumulations would be very light. Very little chance of precipitation at all on Sunday. Just cloudy. Monday, as you can see, partly cloudy, 42 degrees. And in that system, that's going to bring quite a bit of snow to the mountains. A little bit of a rain-snow mix here in the valley floor at times overnight, with the snow level at times dipping down to, right around 900 feet, but not a lot of moisture. Most of the moisture is going to pan itself out up in the Cascades. Again, some of the upper elevations. Could get some light snow Tuesday night into Wednesday. Not here in the valley. Temperature is going to be too warm for whatever snow we get hanging around. Thursday, of course, is Thanksgiving Day. Partly sunny and a high of 45. Almost all of those temperatures that you see there are above normal. So it's going to be fairly mild for late November. To the mountain passes we go. And this will be a good day to go. No advisories, no restrictions on I-90. Roadways bare and wet. It's raining right now at the summit of Snoqualmie Pass. You go another 1,000 feet up in elevation at 4,061 feet above sea level, and that's when you get to Stevens Pass. And that 1,000-foot difference makes all the difference in the world because it's snowing up there, with traction tires advised on US 2 and compact snow and ice on the roadway. And Blewett Pass, which is even higher than Stevens Pass by about 90 feet over above sea level, you're fine. Roadway is bare and wet with clear skies up above. Nothing really today. An inch or two on Stevens. No snow at all expected on Blewett or on I-90. That's your forecast for today. And then no snow at all on tonight through Saturday and into Sunday. It'll be completely dry up in the Cascades. Sunday night, a couple of inches possible. Monday, a couple of inches possible. Slight chance of snow Monday night. And then the snow comes on Tuesday and Tuesday night. Those are going to be the 2 days in the mountain passes that you might want to avoid. Heavy snow is in the forecast for Tuesday and Tuesday night up in the Cascades before it calms down on Wednesday. If you plan on traveling on Thanksgiving, of course, they're advising you not to. Wednesday for the passes, very little snow is in the forecast Wednesday night, and Thanksgiving Day proper. Again, the worst travel conditions will be Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, and into the early morning hours of Wednesday. And outside of that, you're fine. Going to take a break. When we come back, we have some news, and we have a lot of news on this Friday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
My name is Lacey Haggerty, and I'm a nurse midwife with Columbia Valley Community Health. I love all aspects of my job because it is a profession that's very committed to empowering women to make decisions in their health care that feel best for them. It's incredibly valuable to me as a midwife that I get to take care of women throughout their whole lifespan. I hope to see you at a future visit because I know you'll love having midwifery care.
Hi, I'm Kevin Prosser, and this is my print shop, Color Effects in Cashmere. Color Effects offers screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing on t-shirts, jerseys, bags, banners, signs, and more. With 30 years experience, you won't be disappointed with the quality and quick turnaround times you will get at more than a fair price. Please call Color FX.
Right at the beginning of a spectacular sunrise, 31 degrees outside of our studios. Fairly sunny today with a few passing clouds. Highs will be in the mid-40s. Gobs of good sunshine on Saturday. We're going to cloud up on Sunday. Little active weather Monday, Tuesday, and then we calm right back down again From Mother Nature's perspective, here's your news. 6 new Chelan County deaths from COVID-19 reported yesterday by the Chelan Douglas Health District. The district said 4 women, 3 in their 70s and 1 in her 80s, and 2 men, 1 in his 60s and 1 in his 70s, are the latest county residents to die from the virus. That brings the Chelan County COVID-19 death total to 28. Douglas County has had 7 deaths. The Chelan Douglas Health District reported a single-day record for new COVID-19 cases yesterday. 105 people tested positive in the 2-county area. It's the first triple-digit day since the pandemic began. That comes on the heels of 92 new positive tests reported on Wednesday. In response to the surge in cases, the health district has expanded its drive-through testing to ease the burden on Confluence Health and Cascade Medical Center. They've seen the demand for testing soar, as you might imagine. In addition to free drive-through testing already scheduled for tomorrow and Sunday at Wenatchee High School, there'll be testing offered on November 25th and November 27th through November 30th, all from 9 a.m. to 4 o'clock. In addition, testing is going on today at Cashmere High School. Additional days may be added. The mayor of Moses Lake among those calling for Thanksgiving celebrations without large gatherings. Health experts say the COVID-19 pandemic is spreading easily in social gatherings, and group events like Thanksgiving could be a prime vector for transmitting the disease. In a letter to his city on Wednesday, Mayor David Kernell said, and I'm quoting now, "On Thanksgiving, please keep your holiday gathering to a minimum by gathering only with people who you live with. I know this is a hard request because Thanksgiving is traditionally a time to gather with extended family and friends. Making difficult choices now will help save lives. Thank you for making the sacrifice." Cornell, by the way, has been the mayor of Moses Lake since January. He's been a city council member for the last 10 years, and he is also a physician at Confluence Health. The Eastman School District has joined the Wenatchee School District. They're going to put on hold students returning to classrooms as COVID-19 cases continue to climb. Superintendent Garn Christensen said Wednesday a hybrid model of half classroom instruction and half online will continue for preschool through 4th graders, but plans for a similar return for grades 5, 6, and 7 have been paused. Christensen said no dates have been set for bringing those students back to school. The tourist-dependent city of Leavenworth is trying to make it easier for businesses to move outdoors while the pandemic limits their outdoor operation. Restaurants and other shops along Front Street and 8th Street can apply for winter special use permits to offer their services under canopies on the downtown streets of Leavenworth, which have been closed to vehicle traffic since the pandemic began. About 20 permits for outdoor use will be available. One of 2 men charged with beating a fellow inmate in the Chelan County Jail has now pled guilty. 34-year-old Joshua James Cornwell was jailed on drug charges last May when he attacked the inmate, leaving him with a fractured orbital bone around his right eye. He pled guilty to second-degree assault and possession of meth. He received a 1-year sentence. The second suspect in the assault, 40-year-old Rafael Lima of Wenatchee, was indicted last month on a federal charge of possessing firearms despite a felony conviction. He will face trial in Spokane Federal Court in December. And finally, on this Friday, Serve Wenatchee Valley managing food distribution for Douglas County residents who must isolate because of the coronavirus. Again, for Douglas County residents, the A Group has been contracted by the county to bring food to residents who do not have secure access to food while they're in quarantine. Qualifying coronavirus patients will be referred to the program by their medical provider. Now, under the program, Douglas County has funding to provide food for 400 families of 4 people per month. And those are your headlines at 14 minutes after the hour. Once again, Grant and Eric are taking some very well-deserved time off. They've been working really hard, so they're chilling a little bit. So for the evening news tonight, I'll be handling sports and I'll be handling weather. Yeah, I kid you not. But thank goodness we have a journalist handling the actual newscast. With a preview of the Friday Night News, here's Jefferson Robbins.
Hey, good morning, Dan Kuntz. It's me, Jefferson Robbins, with the NCW Life Evening News. Coming up on tonight's newscast, we're going to have all the news and weather you can handle from around the Wenatchee Valley, plus the latest on how the pandemic is affecting our area. Also, Chelan County takes a hard look at recreation on one very popular segment of the Wenatchee River. That's tonight, 5, 6, and 10 p.m. Plus, the people get even more Dan Kuntz with sports and weather. You better not let them down. I'll see you tonight.
Oh, I'll let them down, Jefferson. Trust me on that. Sports, not much of a problem. I follow sports, and as a general rule of thumb, weather is Grant's department. I just wing it, is what I do. You got a news tip? You want to say hi? You want to praise us, criticize us? Look at the bottom of your screen. Those are the ways you can get a hold of us. We do like to hear from you. Email us directly, news@ncwlife.com, news@ncwlife.com. You can go to our Facebook page, drop us a note there via Messenger. You can even go to our homepage at ncwlife.com, our website, and click on the contact icon. All right, 16 minutes after the hour. Seahawks, they're off the schneid. Their 2-game losing streak's a done deal. We're talking Seahawk football when we come back. We'll have sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, some celebrity birthdays, Mike McNalty's opinion, and excerpts from last night's COVID-19 town hall. You're watching a Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel. From the ocean to the mountains to the forest in between, vacation time can be a fun time. But not if your car breaks down. Call Global Car Care today. Have a service approved over $150 on your vehicle, and Global Car Care will donate an oil change service to one of our local heroes at Confluence Health. Look for more incentives online. Global Car Care cares about their community.
Badger Mountain Brewing is proud to announce the grand opening of our new kitchen. Come try out our new menu featuring fabulous steaks, prime rib, gourmet burgers, and seafood grilled up by experienced meat master, Chef Galen Goodman. To complement your mouth-watering meal, Badger Mountain Brewing features 14 in-house crafted beers, an alcohol-free root beer infused with 11 different herbs and spices, 3 different ciders, and a great wine selection. Don't miss out on the best meats and the best brews down at Badger Mountain Brewing, located at 1 Orondo Avenue across the tracks from the Pybus Market.
We're back at 17 minutes after the hour. Let's talk about sports. Russell Wilson throwing for 2 touchdown passes, an improved running game. That was a nice recipe. Seahawks beat the Cardinals last night, 28-21, at the newly christened Lumen Field. That's right, it's now called Lumen Field in Seattle. Seahawks also played better than expected on defense. Their 2-game losing streak is over, and they improved to 7-3 on the year. That puts them a half game ahead of the LA Rams. The LA Rams play Monday night against Tampa, and they're now a game ahead of the Cardinals, who dropped to 6-4 on the year. Pretty exciting finish. The Cardinals driving down the field, trying for the tying touchdown. They got to the 27-yard line in the game's final minute, but then the drive stalled. And then the Seahawks defensive end, Carlos Dunlop, sacked Murray on a 4th and 10 play with 34 seconds left in the game. And that was the end. Seahawks coach Pete Carroll called it a walk-off sack. Carlos Dunlop called it something else.
It was surreal, man. I honestly, with the way the sideline erupted, I could only imagine what it would have been like if the 12s were in there. This team is very exciting. I'm happy to be a part of it. I can't tell you, in more ways than none. I can't go into much detail, but like I said, it's super surreal. It's refreshing. I feel lighter, rejuvenated, and I'm excited to, continue to go to work. They brought me here to do one job. And I like to say that I'm happy that I was able to get it done.
No interceptions for Russell Wilson last night. He had touchdown passes, as a matter of fact, to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Tailback Carlos Hyde ran for a touchdown for the Seahawks, 165 rushing yards for the Seahawks last night. They entered the game ranked last in the NFL in total defense, but they held the Cardinals to just 314 yards last night, and the Cardinals tied their season low for points. Coach Pete Carroll pretty happy after the game.
Really fired up about this game tonight. Our guys really wanted to turn things and get back on track. And even with all of the situations, with all the guys in and out in the lineup and all that, it just didn't matter tonight. And the guys played really well across the board. Special teams were lights out for us. Great efforts in coverage and the kicks and all that. The defense did a really nice job tonight. Gave up 50-something yards rushing and kept them under wraps. Saved the penalties. We really would have had a really big night tonight on defense. Offense played really efficient, no turnovers, which was great. 160-something yards rushing. Rush was really efficient tonight and really sharp. Ran well when he had his chances. It was just a really good night of football, and it was great to see Carlos Dunlap, finish it off on almost a walk-off sack, which was pretty cool and really fun, and great to see him continue to contribute and help us. I know that you've been hearing me talk about it, but we're getting well here soon, and we're going to get better, and we're going to be stronger, and we're going to be better for it. And we have a chance to really put together, a good opportunity here for us by playing good ball week in, week out. So it's a big win playing in the division, and to come out of it first place, that's a good deal for us, and we're fired up about it. A couple days off too, guys are going to get 3 days off, so it's a mini break for us, and we'll take advantage of that. We've got to kick butt COVID-wise, and then we'll come back and get going for the next week.
By the way, the Cardinals did their part. Thank you very much, Arizona. There was a fourth quarter safety when there was a holding penalty in the end zone. After the ensuing free kick, the Seahawks scored the field goal to go up to 28-21 with 2 minutes remaining. The Cardinals got the ball back for the game-winning drive. That didn't happen. Seahawks return to the practice field on Monday as they begin to prepare for their next game. They'll be in Philadelphia to take on the Eagles on Monday Night Football on November 30th. The Spokesman Review is reporting this morning that Cougar quarterback Jayden de Laura has tested positive for COVID-19 and will not play tomorrow night against Stanford. Redshirt sophomore Cameron Cooper and redshirt freshman Gunnar Cruz, they're listed as backups to de Laura on the depth chart. If de Laura is placed, by the way, in a 14-day quarantine, that means he will not play for the Cougars when they take on the Huskies in the Apple Cup. Washington State travels to California to take on the Stanford Cardinal. Saturday night, 8 o'clock, that game will be on FS1. And a reminder, the 1-0 Washington Huskies and the 0-1 Arizona Cardinals kick off Saturday afternoon at 5 o'clock at Alaska Airlines Field at Husky Stadium. The game will be broadcast live on Fox. So good news for Husky and Cougar fans. You can watch the Huskies and then watch the Cougars. They don't play at the same time. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Friday, November 20th, and I can't think of a better obscure holiday. It's Absurdity Day. The word absurd is Latin in origin. It comes from the Latin word absurdium, which means out of tune or irrational, and we definitely live in some absurd times. Life can be illogical and unreasonable. It can be nonsensical. I think immediately of Alice in Wonderland. That's absurd, absurdist literature, if you will. Happy Absurdity Day. How do you celebrate Absurdity Day? Go as wacky as you want to be without any excuses at all. You don't have to explain yourself or explain the absurd times that we're living in. Do absurd things, say absurd things, do nonsensical things, do silly things. In other words, it's like a regular day for me. National Absurdity Day. Absurdity is a part of life. You might as well embrace it, or at least acknowledge it. Anyway. Oh, baby. 23 minutes after the hour. Happy 73rd birthday to the Queen and the Duke. That's their marriage certificate. The Princess Elizabeth, she wasn't Queen yet, marries Lieutenant Philip Mountbatten, who would become the Duke of Edinburgh at Westminster Abbey in London. That's their certificate. And check it out. He's listed as a bachelor. She is a spinster. That was 73 years ago. They don't do that anymore. That's their actual wedding certificate. They're 73 years married today. The Queen, of course, is 95, and her husband is 99. I think we have footage of this. Do we not, Megan?
Riding in the Irish state coach, His Majesty the King and Her Royal Highness the Bride, for the Sovereign's escort of household cavalry, magnificent in full dress. A pageant of solemn majesty, yet full of the warmth of feeling which illuminated this great day. Side by side they appear, heading the procession down the nave, the bride and bridegroom.
It's your typical wedding, yeah. A couple of notes from that wedding. The fruitcake had 4 tiers. It stood 9 feet high, weighed 500 pounds. It took them 80 oranges, 660 eggs, and 3 gallons of rum to make the fruitcake, the happy couple, the princess and the duke, received over 2,500 wedding presents. What do you get them? Oh, look, honey, it's a toaster. It's a gift card to Target. Happy 73rd anniversary to the Queen and the Duke. On another note entirely, this is the 51st anniversary of a bunch of Native American activists who said, we're going to take Alcatraz because we think it's ours. They seized control of Alcatraz in the San Francisco Bay on November 20th, 1969. They stayed there for about a year and a half. I kid you not. It all goes back to the Treaty of Fort Laramie between the U.S. and the Lakota tribe, which said that all abandoned or out-of-use federal land would be returned to the native people who occupied it. And Alcatraz used to be Native man land. So they closed the penitentiary, of course, in 1963. The island went into rot. It was declared surplus federal property in 1964, and so the Native American tribe said, well, because of the Treaty of Fort Laramie, we can take it. So they did. And they hung around for a year and a half. And then the government told them to go take a hike, and they eventually took a hike. But it started 51 years ago today. Keith Moon, the greatest drummer in rock and roll history. There's the man himself, and one of the most amazing stories in all of rock and roll took place on this date back in 1973. Here's the footage, 47 years ago today, at the opening show of the Quadrophenia Tour at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. Keith Moon, after ingesting brandy and a horse tranquilizer, passed out on his drum kit while they were playing Won't Get Fooled Again. Yeah, he's done. Roadies dragged him off the stage, stuck him in the shower for about a half an hour. They stopped the show. They gave him a shot of cortisone. Keith Moon came back out and played, passed out again, right in the middle of a song. The Who played a couple of songs without any drums at all, and then Pete Townsend goes up and says, anybody out there play drums? I mean, anybody good? Any drummers out there? And a 19-year-old Who fan by the name of Scott Halpin said, I can play the drums. They drug him up on the stage. They put him behind Keith Moon's drum kit, and Scott got to play 3 songs with his musical heroes, The Who, the final 3 songs of the night. The dream came true. Postscript to all of this, by the way, after the concert was over, Scott Halpin got to go backstage with the band. He partied with Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend. Roger Daltrey gave him a Who concert tour jacket, a leather concert Who jacket. He gave him Keith Moon's drumsticks, and he said, Scott, we're going to pay you $1,000 for the gig, for coming up and playing in place of Keith Moon. Scott Halpin's Who tour jacket was stolen that night, as were the drumsticks, and Scott Halpin never did get his $1,000, but he got to play drums in place of Keith Moon on this date, 47 years ago today. And you would think after 25 years of use, they wouldn't blow up a dome, but they did on this date 3 years ago, the Georgia Dome, the former home of the Atlanta Falcons. They demolished it after just 25 years of use. I wonder if the taxpayers of Atlanta said, this thing was supposed to last 50 years, you tore it down after 25 years? The Georgia Dome, by the way, the only stadium ever to host the Olympics, a Super Bowl, and the Final Four. And now it's a parking lot. Joni Mitchell is singing somewhere. 29 minutes after the hour, birthdays, Robert Francis Kennedy, born in this state in 1925, assassinated in Los Angeles, California in June of 1968 at the age of 42 while he was running for the Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States. He left a widow, Ethel, and 11 children behind after his assassination. In fact, Ethel was pregnant with their 11th child when Robert Kennedy was assassinated. He was born in the state in 1925. He only lived to the age of 42. Another sad story. We've talked about the saga of Oliver Sipple on this show before, a U.S. Marine and Vietnam War veteran who saved the life of Gerald Ford. On September 22nd, 1975, Sarah Jane Moore tried to kill President Ford in San Francisco. Oliver Sipple deflected her arm. The shot went out, missed Ford. He became a celebrity, extremely well known, but the subsequent public revelation that Oliver Sipple was a homosexual, and he had not told his family, essentially ruined his life. His family disowned him. He was in the San Francisco gay community. Everybody knew that Oliver Sipple was gay, but his family didn't, and he tried to keep it under wraps. That led to his downfall. He unsuccessfully tried to sue the newspapers and various publishers for invasion of privacy. He lost all those lawsuits, and Oliver Sipple sank into obscurity. They found his body a couple of days after he died. He was born in the state in 1941, died alone at the age of 47 in 1989, but he should not be forgotten. A sad story indeed. Dr. John Mac Remenack, the good doctor, born in the state of 1941. We lost the good doctor in 2019 at the age of 77. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, class of 2011, Gris. Right place, wrong time. The great Dr. John. Joe Biden is 78 years old today, the 47th Vice President of the United States, and yes, the President-elect of the United States. Happy 78th birthday to Joe Biden, who will become the oldest president in this country's history come in January. A Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Dwayne Allman, considered one of the greatest guitarists of all time, was born in the state in 1946. Died in a motorcycle accident at the age of 24 in 1971, but the music lives on. This guy could play guitar. We miss Dwayne Allman. Speaking of guitarists, Joe Walsh, 73. Life's been good for Joe Walsh. The James Gang, the Eagles, solo work. Hi, Joe. Joe Walsh is 73 years old today. Somebody should probably tell him. And finally, Blotz Jock. There's Blotz Jock. He's a member of the Slovenian handball national team. One of my faves. He's 25 years old today, 32 minutes after the hour. There's Blotz. Gonna take a break. When we come back, Mike McNally's got an opinion. And then we're going to play excerpts from last night's COVID-19 town hall. Don't miss it. We'll have it for you when we come back. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
The 2021 models are arriving at Sangster Motors. General Motors is on the move with the all-new 2021 Yukon. Yukon is redesigned from the ground up with a bold new look and all the latest technology. Also new is the Canyon AT4 pickup. This off-road equipped mid-size truck will challenge any rival for performance and value. Both of these models will offer Duramax diesel options for maximum power and economy. The American Challenge is game on at Sangster Motors now.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
Mm-hmm. It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging and Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I recently read a book about serious issues of domestic violence in our society. And now this is an issue close to me. I've been dealing with domestic abuse issues as a cop and as a therapist for most of my adult life. And at one point, the author of this book stated that Republicans didn't care about abused women because they didn't vote for some funding for domestic abuse victims programs. No, whoa, wait a minute. Now, isn't it possible that the politicians who didn't vote for these programs simply didn't believe that federal funds should be spent in that manner, not because they hated women? To make a derogatory conclusion about any politician because they don't feel that money should be spent on what you think money should be spent on is part of the divisive logic that's detrimental to mature problem thinking. Now, I have worked to stop domestic violence against women for decades, and I don't think all proposed programs in this area should be paid for by the feds. What does that make me, a woman hater? Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and that's my opinion.
At Harvest Valley Pest Control, we know you are committed to making your home and business a healthy and pest-free place. Hi, I'm David. Give us a call and we'll give you a firm price over the phone and schedule a time that works for you. We will do an in-depth 30-point healthy home or business inspection and craft a customized plan of action designed specifically for your pest issue. Give us a call or visit our website today.
What is it about Tipsy Canyon Winery that keeps people coming back? Is it the magnificent view from the hillside tasting room? Is it the exceptional but affordable wines? Or is it just the fact that you feel right at home from the minute you walk through the door? Actually, it's all this and more. Experience the Tipsy Canyon Winery located just outside of Manson. Your new home away from home.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. 8 months into the pandemic, COVID-19 is now everywhere in north central Washington. There's no getting around that, with more than 100 new cases and 6 more deaths announced just yesterday. Last night, local health authorities and elected officials held a press conference that was carried live right here on the NCW Life channel to outline the threat and the plan on the road ahead. Dr. Malcolm Butler is with Columbia Valley Community Health. He's also the Chief Medical Officer for the Chelan Douglas Health District, and he was the first to speak.
I want you to attend to the red print in the lower right. And what you can see is that the incidence currently is at 685 per 100,000 per 14 days. Many of you have probably heard that number before. That is the highest that we have had in Chelan and Douglas County since the beginning of the pandemic. Importantly, also, the 827 cases that we've seen in the last 2 weeks make up 17% of all of the cases we've had since February. So we've had 17% of all the cases in the last 2 weeks. The second slide is a graphic looking at the positives. It's pretty easy to see that first wave, and it's pretty easy to see how steeply the second wave has taken off. In the third slide, you'll see the local incidence, and you will also see the exponential growth that we have been experiencing over the last few weeks. On the fourth slide, this is now data actually for Washington State. And I bring this so that you can see that just like Chelan and Douglas counties, Washington State is now into its third wave. But you'll see at the top of the graph there that arrow that's pointing north. So the Washington State overall is at about 200, 220 per 100,000 per 14 days. We are at 686. We are 3 times higher than the rest of the state. This again is a little bit busy. I'm not going to take a lot of time to explain it, but what you can see right now circled in red there is that 12% of the tests that we did last week returned positive. What we know is that number needs to be under 2% for us to be feeling comfortable. And what you can see is that the vast majority of these cases are happening in our big cities. So on the left is Chelan County, and on the right is Douglas County, and you'll see by far and away the majority of the new cases are happening in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. But then when we move to slide 10, what you can see, and this is actually looking at cases but filtering for the population of that town. So this is what we call our incidence rate. And you can see that when you look at it that way, Leavenworth in Chelan County and Orondo in Douglas County are really our hotspots right now. But you can also see how broadly this is spread out in Chelan County. And I'll read these names in case you can't see them. Kashmir, Dryden, Monitor, Peshastin are all within that red circle that I've put there. Slide 11 is a representation of Hispanic versus non-Hispanic. So on the far left is back in March. The far right is this week. The light blue are Hispanic. The dark blue are non-Hispanic. And this is looking at all of the positives. And what I want you to notice is that for the majority of the pandemic, about 80% of the disease burden has been in the Hispanic population, remembering that only about 31% of our neighbors are Hispanic. And then starting right around the beginning of October, that number dropped significantly to about 50%. So although the Hispanic community is still carrying a disproportionate share of this disease, it's much better than it has been. And I just want to thank everybody who's been involved in making that happen.
In north central Washington, as Malcolm said, we are now in our third surge of COVID-19. The epidemic curves, as you saw, are nearly straight up. They are exponential. And we don't know where the top is. We had one surge in April, a larger one in August, and now this one is on track to be the largest, or I'm sorry, to be larger than either of the previous two. The outpatient testing done by Confluence Health in the counties of north central Washington has had stable qualification criteria since May. So we've basically said if you have you have symptoms, you've been in contact, or you're having a pre-procedure test, we would like to see you get tested. Over the last couple of weeks, we have seen a tripling of our daily phone calls to our COVID triage line. We are now up over 700 calls a day, and 2.5-fold increase in the number of people needing testing daily. The percentage of tests being positive has increased by 3 to 4-fold. Different than the first surge, though, as again Malcolm pointed out, we have seen the ethnic disparities disappear. And fortunately, fewer individuals of an older age are getting sick enough to, and so the younger people are at a lower risk of needing hospitalization. A month ago, our hospital census for COVID-19 was averaging 2 patients or less per day, and as of today is 13 and is continuing to increase day over day. All of these trends are being seen around the state. We are not unique. And this is different than the first two surges where there were regional differences around the state. And we need to keep in mind that the need for hospitalization is 2 weeks to 3 weeks lagging the increase in testing positivity. So I am concerned about the ability of our local healthcare system to manage this impending surge of COVID care for a few reasons. The ICU needs for COVID-19 care, for non-COVID-19 care have remained higher than average compared with a year ago, and this continues a trend we have been seeing since May. We can usually staff about 12 to 15 ICU beds without compromising care or safety. The ICU length of stay for COVID patients is typically 2 to 3 weeks, unlike other ICU patients where the length of stay is usually just a few days. Staffing levels at the hospital are lower than where we want them. Some of our nurses, our aides, and our therapists have decided to stop working, and some are taking time away to help with their children's virtual education experience. Recruitment is hard, and demand is way exceeding supply in the nation. Traveling nurses are in short supply because the entire country wants them and needs them. The skilled and critically needed staff providing inpatient care for COVID-19 patients day to day, as I said before, is tired both physically and emotionally. But the need goes on day in and day out with no real end in sight. And I worry about what if the younger infected individuals in our community begin to infect older individuals at higher risk of needing hospitalization or ICU care by visiting those family members in congregate living facilities or getting together with them as family over the holidays. If the inpatient COVID care needs increase, we will quickly reach a crisis point for the reasons above. Central Washington Hospital, with its well-trained and skilled nurses, therapists, and physicians, is the only hospital in north central Washington to be able to provide care for the sickest patients in this region. Because this trend is occurring all over the state, other hospitals may not be able to accept patients if we reach our capacity. And at that point, we will not be able to provide usual healthcare services for things like heart attacks, strokes, and so on in our usual way. And we won't treat people the way we would want them to be treated. skilled staff is our limiting factor. So what can we all do, and what do I ask? Well, we know what works. Masks, hand hygiene, physical distancing, and reducing the duration of interactions. We've got to be diligent with these practices at work, in the community, and at home. This holiday season will be different, as we must avoid social gatherings and find new ways to connect with family and friends. My kids are not coming home for Thanksgiving. However, we must act now and engage our community to prevent this overwhelming of the healthcare system, and it will allow us to get our business activity back increasing again and our personal lives back to a more normal.
I was involved in the care of some of the sickest of the patients in our intensive care unit. Their lungs failed. Later on, their kidneys failed. I saw too many of them died from COVID-19. Too many of them look like my father, look like my family members. This pandemic affects our Latinx, Latino, Hispanic community in a disproportionate level because of the place we work. We are essential workers. We were not able to stay home. COVID-19 pushed all the health disparities to the surface. They existed before, but now they are obvious. Despite the fact the proportion of Latinos affected by COVID-19 decreased from 80% to 50%, this is still too high for this region. And perhaps the decrease is because harvest season is over. Our Latinos were and are the most vulnerable ones. If our Latino community succeeds, then our whole community succeeds. A few days ago, we got great news regarding not only one, but two COVID-19 vaccines. Preliminary data suggests that they are 90 and 94% effective. That means that most of the participants on the trials who did not receive the vaccine, they were the ones that they got sick. I'm a proud volunteer of the Pfizer vaccine trial. I trusted the science. Vaccines are some of the safest tools we have in medicine. My husband is also a volunteer. He did have side effects from the vaccine after the second shot. He developed fever, muscle aches, and axillary nodes. This lasted 24 hours. But I would rather get these side effects of the vaccine than the side effects of the long-term side effects of the COVID infection. 1 day of fever versus 1 day being in a breathing machine, so it's really a clear choice. There are still a few more steps to be sure that the vaccine will be safe before it gets approved. Once approved, healthcare workers will be the first one to receive it. But we should not forget our most vulnerable ones in this community. They are also a priority. What is my ask? This is a pandemic like we have never seen before. COVID exists and is everywhere in our community. Please, do not lower your guard. Continue to protect yourself and protect your family. We can go through this, but only if we do it together.
When this pandemic started, we didn't know a lot about it. And there was a lot of information that was coming out, and information today is a lot more rapid than what it was in 1918 with the Spanish flu. And that led to speculation, that led to doubt, that led to confusion, and that led to conspiracy theory. And as that information came out, things changed. And as we learned more, things changed. Yes, mask, no mask. Yes, it's a surface piece. No, it's not a surface piece. And as that was going through, people became confused. And then on top of that, we had an election year, and people decided that this would be a political issue, and they started to create a division in our community and in our nation. And the thing is as we take a look at, as we move forward, this is real. We are at the highest levels we have ever seen in our community since the start of this pandemic. And day in and day out, our men and women are working on the front lines in the medical side, at the health district, the education piece. Public health is about educating the public about how to do things healthy. So where do we go from here? We talk to you, our community, about choices. This comes down to 3 choices. You have a choice to take care of yourself, you have a choice to take care of your family, and you have a choice to take care of your community. When 9/11 occurred, our community came together as well as other communities, and we sent emergency responders and we sent aid to New York City to help the people that we don't even know. When Katrina hit, we did the same thing. We gathered together. We provided aid packages, sent our emergency personnel to another place to assist people we didn't know. When wildfires struck in the last few years across our communities, we reached out to the outlying communities to offer assistance. Even this year with wildfire, we assist Douglas County and their citizens, and Okanagan County and their citizens. These are no different than COVID in the aspect of we need your help. We need you to reach out to this community now. It's here. There's nobody else that's going to come in to help us. We have to help ourselves. So it's about choices. What do you choose to do? You have, I've heard people talk about their constitutional right. It's my constitutional right not to wear a mask. It's not a right, it's a choice. You have, the rights give you the ability to make choices. And what I ask you today is, how will you choose? Will you choose to take care of yourself only? Will you choose to take care of yourself and your family only? Or will you choose to take care of yourself, your family, and our community? I think about the upcoming holiday season. Dr. Rutherford, Dr. Butler have both made the comments about the fact that it would be best that we don't gather. It would be best that you stay away from one another right now. Figure out creative ways of being together, whether virtually or otherwise. But we know that there will be those of you who make the choice to get together. And if you do, what we ask you is take all the necessary precautions that are available to you. Utilize public testing that we'll be providing for this coming up weekend prior to the Thanksgiving holiday. Take advantage of that. That way you know before you go that you're safe to gather with your friends and family. So I'm going to leave you with this. Every one of you have an opportunity to make a choice. You can choose yourself, you can choose for your family, or you can choose for your community. My plea to you is that you will choose for all 3.
When we look at what has happened after Halloween, we did see a dramatic increase. I don't think we can say that that dramatic increase was only related to Halloween, but certainly it looks suspicious. And I think all of us are very, very concerned about Thanksgiving. Because if one evening of kids getting together and families sharing a good time on Halloween can lead to what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, it really frightens me to think about what 4 days of families getting together and sharing time together could do.
So Central Washington Hospital can relatively, with not much, or with a little bit of stretch, staff about 15 ICU beds. With a change in how we staff and reducing surgeries and closing GI labs and closing physical therapy, because of the number of people that this takes to take care of these individuals, we can probably get that number up into the low to mid-20s. But that will be when we are starting to compromise care, because it won't be an ICU nurse for every patient. It'll be an ICU nurse overseeing 2 other nurses helping patients. And we really don't want to go there, because we can't then assure that we are doing the absolute best we can for every patient. So I am nervous at 600 what it's going to look like in 2 weeks from what's infected right now. And that's the concern. The other piece is, I say that ICU capacity, but remember that there's a whole bunch of other stuff still going on in this community that needs ICU care. People with heart attacks, people with strokes, people who need large life-saving surgeries and need ICU care. And that number is higher right now and has continued to be higher than 1 year ago for reasons that are probably related to the delays in care in some degree from the pandemic shutdown that we had last April. And we're still living through that.
How do you know when it's time to go to Boswell's Furniture? When you know the look you love, the colors you want, but need a little design help to bring it all together. With Boswell's complimentary design service, Glenn, Buffy, and Teresa guide you until your vision becomes reality. More styles, more fabrics, and more choices of quality home furnishings fill Boswell's expansive 2-story showroom so you can see it and feel it before you buy. Come into Boswell's and explore the endless possibilities of home furnishings. Boswell's on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks, so bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington for 34 years. Arctic provides the finest heating and cooling air quality products for residential and commercial customers, along with prompt and professional customer service. Arctic also offers specialty services like custom sheet metal fabrication of ductwork, coil cleaning, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Arctic is available for emergency calls 24/7. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
Visit Conservation.
Oh, great. Another one of those PUD rebate commercials. Like they're really gonna give you money to buy energy efficient products.
No, it's real.
There's gotta be a catch. I mean, there's always a catch with these things.
Okay. It's real.
Right? It can't be real.
Trust me, it is so real.
The rebates are real. Visit conservationmakesense.org to learn more.
Sign me up.
Beautiful start to the weekend. Bountiful sunshine, few high clouds. You can see the low clouds and the fog kind of sloshing around a little bit. It'll burn off for the most part. We're going to have the clouds and the sun are going to do a little battle, but I think the sun's going to have the upper hand on that from the National Weather Service. Here's your forecast. One more time. We'll top off at about 43 today, 48 yesterday. Beautiful day yesterday. 30 for the overnight low tonight. Things are just really, I guess the best word is quiet for the next couple of days as high pressure has settled in. It settled in late Wednesday. Gave us a beautiful day yesterday. Not too bad today. Looking good Saturday with a high of 42. Saturday night, we're going to start seeing some clouds. And by Sunday, things are still going to be quiet. No real activity on Sunday. The only difference is, the sun's going to take Sunday off. Lots of clouds and a high of about 39 degrees. Monday, partly cloudy. The snow level is going to be about 1,400 feet, so there is a slight chance of some light rain or maybe some snow in some locations. I don't think it's going to happen. 42 for the high on Monday. Most active weather that we see in the future will be Tuesday and Wednesday, as we have a chance of some light snow developing on the east slopes of the Cascades and the Waterville area, late afternoon, early evening on Tuesday, spilling into Wednesday. Nothing really here in the Wenatchee Valley. It's going to be too warm for snow, quite frankly. We'll have rain if we get anything, maybe a little bit of light snow, but obviously it's going to dissipate, as you see, with highs in the mid to upper 40s. That is above normal. And Thursday is Thanksgiving proper, partly cloudy and a high of 45. Quick heads up, significant snow in the mountain passes on Tuesday and Tuesday night. That's it for us. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.